Day one of legal tampering in NFL free agency saw a bang on Monday. Let's get going. Kirk Cousins, 4 years, $180 million, with 50 of that guaranteed via signing bonus. Kirk Cousins has amassed a lot of big deals in his time with Washington, Minnesota, and now Atlanta. He was number one on Pete Prisco's free agent list. Number two is Chris Jones, 29-year-old, inking a 5-year, $160 million deal to stay with the champs. $101 million of that is guaranteed. We're seeing a stage in the NFL where interior linemen are getting paid, and that's no different for number 4, Justin Madubuike in Baltimore. 4 years, $98 million. He's now the NFL's highest paid defensive tackle in terms of total contract value per Sport Track. Christian Wilkins coming in just outside of the top 10, but he's getting paid big time. 4 years, $110 million coming from Miami to Vegas. Dolphins and their fans, boy, it's coming hard today in terms of seeing all of their guys go. With Christian Wilkins, this was a little bit earlier in the process, but he is now a Las Vegas Raider. And the Philadelphia Eagles going in the division and picking up Saquon Barkley, 27-year-old running back, 3 years, a shade under $38 million with $26 million of that guaranteed. And with incentives, that deal for Saquon could get up to north of $46 million. We do have our free agency tracker up on CBSSports.com, but here's a list of notable free agents to change teams. Again, we gave you a feel that stayed with their teams. A reminder that all 32 teams can begin negotiations with their free agents starting today. Signings and trades finalized starting Wednesday, the official start of the new league year. What's good, streaming people? I'm Tommy Tran, joined by our NFL analysts Danny Cannell and Pete Prisco. These guys have been with us throughout the day. It's time to talk about winners and losers. Danny, I'm going to start with you first. The Falcons grabbing Kirk Cousins, your first winner today.
Yeah, Pete Prisco's number one free agent on the books. It's a quarterback-driven game, and I'm going to take Raheem Morris, the new coach, at his word. And it was pretty obvious the reason why the Falcons didn't have success the last couple of years. They had a major quarterback problem. So you take the command that came from Arthur Blank, the owner, that said, I don't care what it costs, go out and get me a quarterback, and they go out and get one who I think is consistently a top 10 quarterback in Kirk Cousins. And you're going to be able to plug him right into Zach Robinson's system without a big learning curve. He's going to come in and be able to go right away with the terminology, with the concepts, with Bijan Robinson in the backfield, who I think is going to really be a benefactor from this move. Also, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, a strong offensive line. And they move. I thought they would, but it has been confirmed. They are now the favorite to win the division. So I think the Falcons are the big winners from today.
Yeah, it's a great move for the Falcons. I mean, you have to get a starting quarterback. He's the best available quarterback on the market. There are concerns, though. He's 36. He's coming off a torn Achilles. Everybody acts like automatically you're just back to being the same guy. I know he doesn't move like some of the runaround quarterbacks we see these days, but he's still got to be able to plant that foot and be able to move around a little bit. So there is some concern there. But Falcons had to make a move. They spent a boatload to get him. Now the question becomes, can he win a big game in Atlanta?
That is the big question as we're taking a look at deals and extensions in per DK. Again, Atlanta, the betting favorite, minus about 105 or 110. The reigning division champs in the Bucks are coming in second at 3-1. Of course, they also got a deal with Baker Mayfield recently, 3 years for about $100 million there. Let's get to one of the losers here, Pete Prisco. Boy, Justin Fields coming into today looked like he had some possible destinations, but with everything that we've been seeing so far, those options seem to be dwindling by the minute.
Yeah, and that's the kind of the word you heard around the league was that there wasn't a great market for Justin Fields. And you mentioned it with Kirk Cousins going to Atlanta. That's his hometown. He thought there was some chance he would go there. And now the Raiders, they actually paid Gardner Minshew a 2-year, $25 million deal rather than make a move to go get Justin Fields. So It's not a good opportunity for him out there. There's nothing really in terms of a starting quarterback that you can say, okay, he's going to be that team's guy. So I think he might have to go the backup route. Now the Bears have to decide, do they keep him as a backup or a potential challenger to the guy they do pick at the top of the draft, probably Caleb Williams, or do they let him go, trade him to like a place like Indianapolis with no Minshew there and with Anthony Richardson having some injury issues, particularly as a rookie? I think that could be a possibility as well. But certainly a big loser in this has been Justin Fields.
I totally agree, Pete. I mean, those two situations would have been great if you look at Atlanta and Pittsburgh. Either he goes home or he goes to a really good team that's got a stable organization. Now we're talking about backup destinations or places potentially to start, but you're probably going to have to win. And some of them are complete rebuilds when you look at them. So I had the Titans as a potential landing spot. I don't know exactly how the Titans feel about Will Levis, but if they're not 100% sold, bring in a competition. Again, that's a tough road for Justin Fields. I had the Broncos. The Broncos are still in need of a quarterback now. What are they going to do post Russell Wilson? That'd be a major project. Does he fit into Sean Payton's system as somebody who won a lot with Drew Brees, who is, pinpoint accuracy from the pocket? That doesn't really fit Fields' game. The Vikings potentially another one. Like they're going. Is he going to be able to just plug and play in that system? I don't know. Or potentially the Patriots. Let's say the Patriots are not in love with the third option of these quarterbacks. I think it's always interesting because we assume they're going to go young with that movement, but maybe they go with Justin Fields where at least the floor isn't going to completely bottom out. But in any case, none of these situations look as good as the spots that he was potentially rumored to be going to.
Guys, it's interesting, the last two really big quarterback classes, 2018 and then 2021. If we talk about 2021, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and Mac Jones. And it looks like Trevor Lawrence is the only one that's going to get a big extension coming into this offseason, which is interesting to see. Danny, we're going to get to you with some other winners here. Pittsburgh, why are the Steelers winners?
I think they're getting a winning quarterback in Russell Wilson. Now, there's debate over, how much does he have left in the tank? Do the distractions, his makeup, is it annoying? Is it something that doesn't lead? This offense lacked leadership last year. They just didn't have it. The George Pickens situation cropped up. No one really spoke up about it. I think Russell Wilson steps in, and he is a leader. Whether you like the way he leads or not is up to you. But I do think Mike Tomlin will be able to rein in some of the off-the-field stuff, really help him in the process here. And I think he comes in with a chip on his shoulder. And most importantly, I think he still has some pretty good elite quarterback skills left. He threw for 26 touchdowns passes last year. That's double what Kenny Pickett has given you in his first 2 years in the league. So you're going to get solid, consistent play. And if you get the upside, maybe there's a chance you can get 30-plus touchdowns still in the tank with him, with a young receiver like George Pickens in the running game, which you're going to have with two solid backs. So I think the Steelers get a quarterback they can win with, which is a huge upgrade from what they've had.
Where has he ever been a leader? In both places he's been, Danny. The Seahawks got tired of him, didn't really like him. And in Denver, he was far from being a leader. He's never been a leader. He's a guy that goes, plays quarterback, makes a couple statements after games. Let's ride, go Hawks, or whatever he used to say, go Bronx. And that's it. He's not a leader, and that's a problem. And I think, look, he's not the same player he used to be. He struggled the last 2 years. He leaves clean pockets. He never steps up in the pocket. It wouldn't shock me to see Pickett beat him out, and that would be funny if it indeed happened.
Oh, we have to have a side bet on that, Pete, because there is no chance they're starting Kenny Pickett if Russell Wilson's there and they're both healthy. There's zero chance. Russell Wilson is the guy.
We'll see, because competition is a good thing.
By the way, Danny, you want final word in terms of the leader thing that Pete was talking about?
Yeah, absolutely.
With Russ?
You are a quarterback. By default, you're a leader. And I'd always think it's interesting that guys maybe don't like him personally, and oftentimes because they made him look bad. He is a first in, last out type of leader, which can rub some guys the wrong way. Clearly, the guys he won with in Seattle didn't love it, because sometimes it makes them look bad. I think there's a lot of that's gone on with Seattle. In Denver, there was a void of leadership because there was uncertainty who the coach was. But I haven't heard many players with Denver trash him. So I still think if he comes in humbly to Pittsburgh, he can win over that locker room.
All right, let's move on. First off, if you're new to CBS Sports HQ, welcome. Secondly, Pete Prisco doesn't really like running backs. However, Pete Prisco going to say running backs win for the most part. But in true Pete Prisco fashion, there does have to be a running back loser. Prisco, please explain.
Well, you look at the early deals, and a lot of these running backs are getting paid. I mean, Saquon Barkley got a relatively big contract for a running back. And Josh Jacobs got a big contract for a running back from, the Green Bay Packers. And then you look across the league, and Pollard is signing a deal with the Titans. Running backs were signed early and often, and I'm a little surprised by it. The contract